From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE as Microsoft, Google, and Starbucks all report earnings. And how will those earnings impact your fourth stimulus check and your fourth stimulus package? That monthly fourth stimulus check is landing in your bank account starting the month of July, every month thereafter, if Congress gets their way. And in this recording, we go over what Congress wants to do for that fourth stimulus package of 2021. We also go over that SSI SSDI Social Security and Railroad Benefits reform that Congress wants to put in the fifth stimulus package. Meantime, I'm going to jump into the live chat and interact with you and answer your questions live on air during this broadcast. And we go over the other items that the president has and has not delivered, and the surprising developing details from Representative Neal, what he said today, and what it could signal for what's going on in the fall. It's a big day, and we're not even through even the half of the point of the day. And with that, I'm excited for you. Let's get to it. This is Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's a great day, and I'm so excited you're joining me on Afternoons LALATE. Our first of two afternoon shows. The next Afternoons LALATE is in 2 hours from now, and then we go into Evenings LALATE, and finally LA Late Night. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. In this recording, you're going to see why you want to be part of the community of this channel because of accuracy, information, and timeliness. Also, like this video. Let's try to do 3,000 likes. If you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Today, we learned in the last few hours that the next 24 hours will feature the United States president debuting the fourth stimulus package and the fifth stimulus package at the same time. Ooh, interesting. And that after that, he's going to go on tour, as the press secretary said, to debut to the American people the fourth stimulus package and the fifth stimulus package. Now, as a viewer of this channel, you already know that the president's fourth stimulus package will get revised by Democratic senators and Democratic House members to put in monthly stimulus checks. And the fifth stimulus package in September will get revised to put in SSI reform. So you're not going to hear the president mention what the congressional leaders want to put in there. He's going to mention what he wants to put in there. In the next 24 hours, he's going to first talk about the American Jobs Plan, the fourth stimulus package. But when that lands in Congress, that package is going to be a little bit different. How different will it be? It will be the best differentness you've ever seen on the history of this channel. It will start by paying you a monthly stimulus check. How many months? If you're a House member, they're going to give you a stimulus check every month for the pandemic plus 1 year. The senators want to give you a stimulus check from now to the end of December. Who are the movers and shakers? The House members are progressives, and the senators are more moderates. The amount of the stimulus checks differs. The House members want to pay you a stimulus check of $2,000 the first month and $1,000 thereafter. The senators' amount is unknown, but word on the street is it looks like this. Word on the street is the senators want to pay you $2,000 a month, which over 6 months is $12,000, or over 6 months at $1,400, which is about $8,400. To which some of you may ask the following: when, how, and how will this get done? The vote for the fourth stimulus package will be by July 4th. Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi confirm. Second, the fourth stimulus package would involve stimulus checks starting the month of July. You would get the check in the month of July and a month every month thereafter. Will there be a wave of checks? There can't, because they got to come monthly. Next, is it income? No. Stimulus checks are not income. Would it disqualify you for benefits? No. And how would they do it? By reconciliation. They're going to do it by reconciliation because they do not have bipartisan support, and that reconciliation is the only way they can get it to the finish line. It's a 2-month process that would start in May and finish in July. The first check you would get is in the month of July. And finally, how would you physically get the check? This is my conjecture, my speculation, but I think they're going to follow the Harris-Sanders plan of 2020 to send you a debit card and then replenish it thereafter. 4 monthly stimulus checks starting in the month of July and continuing thereafter. That's the 4th stimulus package. Also, in the next 24 hours, the president's going to debut the 5th stimulus package. That is the September stimulus package, also called the American Family Plan. Now, the president's not going to mention SSI reform when he mentions it either. Again, SSI reform will come from those congressional leaders. How do we know that? Because they have written the president and told him and released the letter to us saying they're putting it in there. Those congressional leaders have said, you promised this under 3rd stimulus and didn't deliver it. You aren't putting it in a 4th stimulus, so we're putting it in 5th stimulus. And then they go to actually quote by footnote his promises on the campaign trail and during his run for president. That SSI reform, very easy breezy. Let's get to the details. First, it would increase your benefits. Second, it would increase your asset limits. Third, it would tie inflation as a new benchmark. Fourth, it would remove the income exclusion. And finally, it would remove the marriage penalty. How do we know this? It's in their letter. It's just easy. It's in their letter. So let me explain how much money this is. Again, this is the 5th stimulus package in September. It's separate from the stimulus check. So yes, you're getting one and the other. How does this work? First, they raise your benefits up to a new number. That would be your new number going forward. Second, they would tie you to inflation, not to COLA. A new report that came out today, you're going to hear it on the next show on Afternoons LA, shows that your benefits increased 1% this last year. Horrible. What's 1%? That's diddly-do. That's nothing. So they're going to increase your benefits and then tie you to inflation. The inflationary number over the next expected inflationary number of the U.S. economy over the next few years is 3 to 4%, at lowest 2%. So your benefits are going to increase year to year. Then the asset cap, gone, dated back to 1984. It says you can't keep, some of you can't keep more than $3,000 on hand. Fourth, remove the income cap, dating back to 1962. Wow, that income cap says if you want to work, you can't work. Well, guess what? They want you to work if you want to. You don't have to if you want to. If you want to, you can take in 12, 24,000, some amount they're going to decide, and you won't fall off benefits. And finally, if you know about the marriage exclusion, the marriage penalty, they're getting rid of that as well. To which you'll ask me when, how, and how much. The when is around in November. Again, 5th stimulus starts in September. It's a 2-month process, reconciliation, and then it would start the next month. So that's around in November. Additionally, you're going to ask me how. That, again, is also the recon. The recon process is going to be needed because it's not going to get bipartisan support. And finally, how much? That's all dependent on your benefits, but if you're on multiple benefits, like you're on Social Security and Railroad, all your benefits would be increased. Really incredible, great news. Now, here's what you need to know going into the afternoon. Benefits and also stimulus is needed faster rather than later. Why? You remember what I've been detailing over the last few weeks. I've been telling you that I'm always worried that the economy will rebound too quickly, and that if it rebounds too quickly, that's a risk for stimulus. I've always said that the speed issue is a big issue for 4th stimulus. You don't want the economy rebounded, and you won't want jobs restored. And while we're not at that situation yet, you know what I've been telling you. We've been looking at corporate earnings over the last few weeks. And today, just minutes ago, new corporate earnings came in. I told you over the weekend that today, Alphabet, the parent company of YouTube, that's Google, Microsoft, and Starbucks would report earnings. And boy, did they report earnings. My goodness. OMG. Those earnings just came in minutes ago, and I'm going to have them for you right now. What do those earnings say? It shows that the earnings were not just good, but jaw-dropping good. Did it exceed expectations? Yes. Were they pre-pandemic numbers? Oh, yes, they were. Did it show full recovery? Yeah, it did. These are shockingly big numbers. So let's go over what these numbers showed and why it's important to get forced stimulus out the door as soon as possible. First, let's turn to what came in from Alphabet, parent company of Google and YouTube. Earnings were expected to be $15 a share. They came in at $26 a share. Oh my goodness. Revenue was a beat, $55 billion compared to $51 billion. And YouTube came in at $6 billion compared to an estimate of $5 billion. Well, that was a jaw-dropping set of numbers. The next one that came in minutes ago was Microsoft. They were expecting $1.78 a share, and it came in at $1.95, nearly $2. Revenues came in relatively at consensus. And then Starbucks. If you were with me over the weekend, you heard me tell you that Jim Cramer thought Starbucks may come in flat. Well, not at all. Starbucks came in at pre-pandemic numbers. Earnings were 62 cents a share compared to an estimate of 53. Wow. But revenues came in a little bit lower than expected. Incredible, great news. Now, what does this mean for you? It means that we need stimulus to happen sooner rather than later. Additionally, another message I've been delivering throughout the day's channel, and I want to hit it very strong and hard right in this recording, is that I am concerned about the July-September dates. Why? Because I really don't know where this economy is going to be in September. We could be partially rebounded, not rebounded, in a worse circumstance. There's currently 16 million Americans unemployed and 8 million jobs missing. So here's my concern. PEUC, PUA, FPUC, a lot of the unemployment instruments, eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, are all expiring. And if Congress goes on vacation, which they do in July, and come back in September, and the economy gets worse, well, then we just had the benefits all expire. I hope that Congress takes a very good look and determine whether we need to rebound certain things across the board. I'll have more about that in a second, and that new executive order from the president minutes ago. I'll be back in 60 seconds from now, but just get ready with your questions. Drop them in the comments during the commercial break, and I'm going to be jumping in the live chat and interacting with you right after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on LALATE in 2 hours from now as Afternoons LALATE goes into its big afternoon show, that evening show. 2 hours from now is the second Afternoons LALATE, then Evenings LALATE at 8 p.m., and then LA Late Night. I hope you join me for all those shows. And how are you? It's a big Afternoons of Afternoons LA. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Pearl Power, or Casino VIP. What a day it is. The president debuted a new executive order just minutes ago. That executive order makes it now a law that federal contract employees have to be given a minimum wage much higher. I had thought this was passed months ago because we had heard this was going to happen months ago, but it took a little while. So now if you're a federal contract employee, which is, let's say, like a gardening company that does the federal grounds, you'll be paid more. That effective rate is March 2022. Meantime, Representative Neal, the head of the Ways and Means Committee, was detailed a lot on this channel earlier this year. The House Ways and Means Committee was critical in doing the major part of the money of the third stimulus package. Well, what did Representative Neal do today? Representative Neal introduced today a bill, which is never going to see a time of day. It's never going to go anywhere. But the bill is called the Building and an Economy for Families Act. And what does it propose to do? It proposes to pay newborn children 17 years of $4,000. Yeah, you did hear me right. 17 years of $4,000. He's proposing to take the child tax credit, which is now going out starting the month of July, $3,600, and do it over 17 years for any child for families less than a certain income level. Really surprising. And it comes after the president reportedly tried to do the same thing for the fifth stimulus and was told by his advisors he could not do it. So he is now the president on the fifth stimulus. He's going to tell you in the next 24 hours he's going to do the same thing, but over 6 years, $24,000. So a lot of money for kids. A lot of money for kids. Here is something else that I need you to know. It's very important as a family that we continue to push. Purple Power, you've been very, very effective in pushing things and getting things to the finish line. But it's also very important that we keep other people also on point. Yesterday, a YouTube channel published a video with the title as the following: stimulus check going out in May, stimulus check going out in June, stimulus check going out in July. That's the title of the video. What stimulus check is there in May? So I watched the video to try to figure out what is this stimulus check that's going out in the May. The YouTube author then went on to say that in the month of May, a stimulus check is coming from the federal government of $10,200. I said, what? And the YouTube creator went on to say that a stimulus check of $10,200 is coming as an IRS tax rebate for unemployment. Wait a second. Number one, that's not a stimulus check. Number two, it's not money. It's not profit. It's for people who paid unemployment that are now going to get that money returned to them. So you're not going to make a penny on it. If you paid $3,000, you're getting $3,000 returned to you. You're not making money on it. It's not a stimulus check. It's not even a check. It's just break even. It's exactly zero. And then the YouTube author went on to say there's a stimulus check going out in the month of June. There is no stimulus check going out in the month of June. And then referred to the child's check coming in $300 a month of July as a stimulus check. Wow. What series of statements. And that video went to 250,000 views and 14,000 likes. It's important we understand as a community that we may like to hear really good news, but it has to be truthful news. And that there is no stimulus check coming from the federal government in the month of May, and $10,200 is not coming to you, and that any refunding of money for IRS money to you is a break even. It's not a stimulus check. It is break even. It's important that as a community, we get to the finish line with truth and accuracy, and that we push and understand what things are happening. It comes in a day in which a lot of people are asking the president, what is going to be the capital gains tax rate? Who's going to be impacted by the capital gains, and how will you do it? Here's an example. A new report came out today about the capital gains taxes being proposed by the president under the fifth stimulus, of which we know very little. And the report said there's two parts of capital gains. One part will generate $133 billion for the federal government, but the other part will cost the government nearly 30% of that money. So it shows that the president has to do two different parts. There's been talk about inheritance tax, there's been talk about corporate tax, and there's been talk about also personal taxes getting changed. But until we see everything, it's a big issue. A new survey came out today that headlined a series of financial news channels that said Americans were asked, do you like the fourth stimulus package? Well, wait a second. How can you like it if you haven't seen it? How can you like the fifth stimulus package if you haven't seen it? Americans have been told that the fourth stimulus package is roads and infrastructure, climate, and internet, but haven't been told a lot more about it. And yet they're being asked, do they like something? Yeah, I like something, but I prefer to know what it is before I tell you whether I like it or don't like it. And with that, it's starting to become sort of a narrative, I think, in some places where people just want to be told something good, whether it actually is true or not. And ultimately, you need to know the complete story until you know whether it's good or not. We shouldn't be, as a society, people who sort of jump to say everything is wonderful until we know what wonderful is yet. We need to know all the parts and parcels until we get to the finish. Let me jump into the live chat with you and interact with you and see some of your questions you may have across the board. Let me see some of your questions you may have. Brian Kelly, keep pushing for reconciliation. Absolutely. Well said, Brian, because we need that recon to start by May. It's a 2-month bill, and that 2 months is just approaching. Let me see some of the other questions you have. Lisa says, I got lost and read everyone's comments. Yeah. Gas prices, tissues, and laundry detergents are high, says T. Barnes. Thank you, T, for that comment. That was what a new report came out today said, that your benefits, if you are on benefits, went up 1% last year. But those items like gas, tissues, and laundry went up 20 to 30% in the last year. What about people who live on fixed income like Social Security? What about their up payments? That is why they need more stimulus. That is why their benefits need to be increased. And that's why SSI reform is being pushed by those legislators in the fifth stimulus this fall. Misty, why does it take 2 months for stimulus? Great question from Misty. And I do get that question a lot. Why does it take 2 months? Let me explain to you why. Here's the reason. They have to do what's called a reconciliation process. And that reconciliation process is actually 2 bills done together. The first bill is the procedural bill. Goes to the House floor, then goes to the Senate, then goes to the President. And it has to just say, we're going to do a reconciliation. Then step 2 is the actual substantive bill. It goes to subcommittees in the House. Those subcommittees decide what's going to be in the subcommittee section. Then it goes to the floor of the House for a vote. Then it goes to the Senate. Then it goes to the Senate to amend. And then it goes off to the President. It's a slightly longer process than a normal bill because it's a reconciliation process. A normal bill can be done literally in 3 days if you have bipartisan support. But the president doesn't have bipartisan support. In fact, the fourth and fifth stimulus both will have no bipartisan support. The only thing the president could have done faster is start the reconciliation process faster. The reason why he didn't is because he knows what's coming up next year. In the last 7 days, Republicans have had a retreat. And during that retreat, they said that the lack of bipartisan support for the third, fourth, and fifth stimulus will be their campaign commercials for next year, showing that the president only wanted to do things he wanted to do and didn't want to meet anyone halfway. Very interesting. So unfortunately, a reconciliation process does take 2 months. Let me see some more of the questions. Paulina, hello, LA. Federal Reserve Powell says we can support more stimulus, and yet Biden wants to raise capital gains and inheritance taxes. Doesn't make sense. Oh, I love Paulina's comment. Paulina touched on a subject which I think I mentioned, on Evenings LA last night. Paulina's comment is very, very insightful. Here's what's really at issue. In 2020, we saw from Nancy Pelosi the HEROES Act. And the HEROES Act had an enormous price tag, $3 trillion. $10,000 for hazard pay, FPUC retro, stimulus checks, the CDC grant, the $50,000 grant. It was just money and money and money. How much taxes were they going to change to do the HEROES Act? Zero. Zero. What were they going to fund the HEROES Act with? Debt. They were just going to run up debt. And what did Jerome Powell say last year? The federal government can afford debt. We're in the middle of a pandemic. In fact, we're not spending enough money on stimulus. We can afford debt. It is really unclear why, out of nowhere, this administration has suddenly become obsessed with paying some of these stimulus packages with taxes. I pause to say some, because the stimulus packages are not 100% being paid by taxes. A portion of them are being proposed by taxes. But I think what's really the big issue here is that the fourth stimulus package and the fifth stimulus package are not COVID-like packages. They aren't 12-month packages. They're 10-year packages where they're fixing roads and infrastructure over 10 years, where they're trying to give children money for 17 years or 6 years or 8 years. And so I think that as the horizon of what the president's proposing is so far, that ultimately that may be why he's trying to touch on taxes. To which you may say, why are the horizons so far on these bills? Because that's how legislators work. They try to do things understanding that 8 years from now, he's not going to be the president. Someone else is going to be the president. So they want their laws to be on the books for 10, 15, 20 years. That's how legislators think across the board. Let me jump into the live chat and see some more of your great questions. And there's T, and there's Jenny, and there's Eliza. Carla says, "LA, thank you for not talking like that guy from Yale." Carla said, "LA, thank you for not talking like that guy from Yale." Well, there's a reason why, because I went to a better school than that. I went to the better school, and anyone that goes to a better school than Yale doesn't talk like people from Yale. A little rivalry there. Oh, and by the way, I do have a degree in that covers sort of the subject matter of what's going on. Not him. It's a little bit different. That's why the details are a little bit different. Let me jump back into the live chat. There's Kim, and there's Gail, and there's Wesley, and there's John, and there's Peter. College for All Act paid for taxes on Wall Street speculative act reintroduced today by Senator Sanders. I appreciate that, Peter. I think Sanders introduced it a few days ago. That was the one that I did not want to talk about because I just don't think it makes sense. Sanders did introduce a bill. Again, it's not going to see light of day. But the reason why I don't like Sanders' bill, Peter, is it tries to tax even people who don't make a lot of money. It is not a wealth tax bill. It's not for billionaires and trillionaires. It's for anyone who just trades stocks. There's Dean from Decatur, and there is Nancy. Do you think the government's computers went down? I think they haven't updated everything. Yeah, another round of third stimulus checks are going out tomorrow and landing by direct deposit, and those stimulus checks will be posting on the IRS tool. Meantime, more mail checks are going out as well. And thank you for joining me on a big afternoon's broadcast. We had some fun today. No audio problems. Yesterday with the audio problems. Oh my goodness. If you did not see what happened yesterday, there was a tape show on Afternoons LA that went up and then it started to play and there was no audio. And I thought, oh, so we're going to have 30 minutes of no show with no audio. So I quickly ran on set and I went live with you and I sort of kept a straight face like nothing ever happened. And I think I got away with it. I think people didn't realize that there was a problem on the show and there was a replacement of a live show. But the good news is that in 2 hours from now, you're going to see a tape show that was taped just a few minutes ago. The audio is beautiful. The audio is beautiful. The plants look good. The surfboard looks good. There's no taxes. You will not be taxed to watch that show. And with that, make sure you subscribe. I'm not telling you that you're getting a stimulus check in the month of May, or a stimulus check in the month of June, or that a tax refund check from the federal government is a stimulus check. I'm giving you 1 point, and we're having a lot of fun across the board. Also, like this video. Every like you do really helps to make sure that videos that are incorrect do not rank high, and that videos that are accurate rank higher. Also, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. I'll see you in 2 hours from now, and stay with LA for more.